So Keith, what are your thoughts on two-pole versus four-pole operation?
Well, I don't see it really as a question for open loop and closed loop systems.
Right.
I see it as an operational issue. Obviously, the pump operating at 2,900 RPM is going to give you greater flow and greater head than the same pump operating at 1,450. I mean, that's a given. But what you've got to ask yourself is, are there operational limitations for the pump running at 1,450 RPM compared to 2,900 RPM? So you need to look at the pump performance. What does the curve shape like? What is the situation when you're operating at the nominated duty point? What is the situation when you're nominated in an underflow condition or an overflow condition? So there is no one-size-fits-all answer to that question. You have to look at the operating parameters that the client needs, and you can then determine whether a 1,450 RPM pump is a better solution than the 2,900 RPM pump. And that you get from the performance curve. What we know is that slow-running pumps, generally speaking, have larger physical size, and that they will therefore have components that are slightly mechanically more robust than the two-pole. But it's all down to looking at the individual construction of the product for the application that you have in mind.
Very good. And there's also this concept of having a reduced lifespan in a pump running at a higher speed. How would you?
Well, I don't agree with that.
Right.
The lifespan of the pump is almost totally determined by the operating conditions and the operating point. If you're running a pump close to best efficiency, which is where the pump manufacturer actually designed it to operate, then you will get relatively long life out of that product. But if you run it away from best efficiency into an unpleasant operating zone, the pump won't like it. The pump will vibrate, it will be unstable, and it will give you bad operation in service. And that will manifest itself in the life cycle of the product. So life cycle of a product is not only related to size and speed, it's related to the operating point when it's related to pumps.
So you're saying in that case, then it's more important to have a good selection in terms of the operating point versus perhaps a lower speed pump?
Yeah, you've always got to look at where is the pump actually going to operate and what are the operating conditions that the client is looking for. Because with a clean water pump in a good fixed speed installation will last forever. It's not really a question of two-pole speed versus four-pole speed. But as soon as you get adverse operating conditions, you need to ask yourself, is the NPSH for the pump okay, for example? What's the bearing life going to be in that operation? So these are the questions that you need to ask. What the noise level is going to be? Is noise an issue? All of these things you need to know about when you're deciding what is the right pump for the job. But that's the crux of it for me, deciding on the right pump for the job.